Most people who do evil do not think of themselves as evil. Sit with that for a moment. No villains twirling their moustaches, no monsters lurking in the shadows, just ordinary people, people like you and me, making choices they've somehow managed to justify to themselves. That insight belongs to Roy Baumeister, one of the most cited and consequential social psychologists alive today. And if it makes you a little uncomfortable, good. That's exactly where Baumeister does his best work. Born in 1953, Baumeister has spent over 5 decades dissecting the human condition with surgical precision. More than 700 published works, professorships at Florida State University and the University of Queensland, co-author of the best-selling Willpower, Rediscovering the Greatest Human Strength with journalist John Tierney. His books have reached millions of readers, not because they flatter us, but because they tell us the truth about ourselves. His work circles 3 great questions. Why do we lose control? Why do we need each other so desperately? And why, despite our best intentions, do we sometimes cause harm? Let's take each one in turn. Baumeister's career-defining observation is deceptively simple. One cutting remark drowns out 10 compliments. One failure echoes longer than a string of victories. In his landmark paper, co-authored in 2001, he put it in 5 words that have since become famous in psychological circles. Bad is stronger than good. This isn't pessimism dressed up as science. It's a biological reality. Our brains are wired to weight threats more heavily than rewards. Understanding this, Baumeister argued, is not cause for despair. It is the beginning of wisdom. From negativity, Baumeister turned to connection, and what he found was equally striking. We are not social by preference, we are social by design. The need to belong is a powerful, fundamental, and extremely pervasive motivation. His belonging theory proposed that humans carry a deep, almost biological drive to form lasting, meaningful relationships. Not casual acquaintances, not digital followers, but real, enduring bonds. When those bonds hold, we thrive. When they fracture, through rejection, isolation, or loss, the consequences reach far beyond sadness. His research showed that people are strongly motivated to maintain interpersonal attachments, and when that drive goes unmet, behavior begins to unravel in ways that ripple outward into families, workplaces, and entire communities. Connection, however, is only part of the equation, because even surrounded by people who love us, there is still the private battle, the one we fight against ourselves every single day. Baumeister defined self-control with quiet precision. Self-control is the capacity to alter one's own responses. That's it. The ability to pause before reacting, to choose the harder, better path. But here is where his most influential and controversial idea takes hold. Through a series of experiments, Baumeister demonstrated that this capacity is not unlimited. He called it ego depletion, the theory that willpower functions like a muscle. Exert it repeatedly, and it weakens. Willpower enables people to override impulses, but only while there is enough of it left. The implications are profound, because if willpower is a finite resource, then the architecture of our daily lives, the order of our decisions, the habits we build, the environments we create, matters far more than sheer determination alone. And when that architecture fails, Baumeister didn't soften the verdict. Self-control failure is the major social pathology of our time. Addiction, debt, broken relationships. These are not simply personal failings, they are in part the predictable outcomes of a world that relentlessly depletes us. Underpinning all of this is Baumeister's view of identity itself. The self is a cultural animal, shaped not just by genetics, but by the language, institutions, and relationships that surround us from birth. We are, in a very real sense, made by the world we inhabit, and yet we are not helpless within it. Despite the philosophical debate around free will, Baumeister held a grounded, pragmatic position. Free will is useful for human society. Whether or not it exists in some absolute metaphysical sense, believing that we can choose, that our decisions carry weight, makes us more responsible, more accountable, and ultimately more human. Roy Baumeister never set out to comfort us. He set out to understand us, with rigor, honesty, and a willingness to go where the data led, even when it was inconvenient. His work on evil forces us to look inward. His research on belonging reminds us why we reach outward. And his study of self-control gives us something rare, not a guarantee of success, but a map of the terrain we're all navigating. Understanding why we fail, he showed us, is always the first step toward choosing differently. I'm grateful for the moments shared in discourse. May our paths cross again in the fullness of time.